All right, everybody, here we go. Once more into the pocket dimension where we're going to paint all the things with me, JP Got Rockets. So we're going to continue on with Gnoll-Vember, and we're going to keep on priming these gnolls up. And I'm still having some trouble with my unified chat on the back side of things here. So yeah, I'm going to bring up the individual chats. Hey, how's it going, Travis? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Got Travis Faber. Travis has a Kickstarter going right now of a really cool, if you're like me and you like the Bretonnians and you want to play a really cool joust game, then you should definitely look into Kickstarter for what's the name of the... You gave me a copy of it, Travis. I'm having a senior moment. You want to go ahead and hit in the chat the name of your Full Metal Tilt. There it is. Full Metal Tilt. And if you want to drop in the Kickstarter link. Yep, so... Yep, Full Metal Tilt by Travis Faber. It is on Kickstarter currently, so folks, go and check it out. And we'll give them a shout a little bit later on so that more people can see it, hear about it, because I don't know how many people are actually watching right now yet. A lot of people show up a little bit late. Some people show up a little bit later. So I am working on, this is Gnoll-Vember, so I'm working on a warband of gnolls for A Song of Blades and Heroes, and I did not get to work on them any this weekend like I wanted to, so I'm going to continue on. And of course, not only is it Gnoll-Vember, in Gnoll-Vember, next Thursday, it is Tanksgiving, where I will be building, dun dun dun, the Churchill tank from Warlord Games. So we'll build that. I don't know if we'll get around to painting it, but we will be building it on Tanksgiving. So Tanksgiving on next Thursday. Gnoll-Vember, Tanksgiving. See what I did there, folks? All right, so let's keep on painting here. And yeah, so Full Metal Tilt. That's what it is. It's Full Metal Tilt at Kickstarter. Now, if you happen to be watching on Twitch, or if you're watching on the other platforms, I have got a fundraiser for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline going on my Twitch channel, because Twitch makes it easy to do good works and raise money for worthy causes. All you have to do is land on my homepage. Just go into Twitch, type in the search bar JP Got Rockets, and it will pull up the homepage. And there will be, if you are on PC or laptop, it will be in the lower right hand corner, just underneath the screen. It will say contribute for charity or donations to charity. And you can go ahead and make a donation to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, because this is November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So there are some pretty staggering statistics about men and mental health, and how many of us decide to check out too early. for whatever reason. Because sometimes fellows will decide that today is the best day and tomorrow is going to be worse and every day after is not going to be worth it either. But I will tell you, today is not the end, neither is tomorrow. So, anyhow, that is up and running on the Twitch page. Just in case you're concerned, Twitch doesn't get a red cent of the donation money. That goes all straight to the charity of choice. So far we are at $91 out of $250. So feel free to hop over if you're on one of the other platforms. Lend a hand for a good cause. Not only, sometimes we think of a hotline like that as being a hotline where you just call and talk to somebody on the phone, and while they have that, they also have a lot of programs that you can look into and literature, and they can also help you find mental health care professionals and programs in your area that can help you. So they do more than just talk you down from having a bad day. So I had the statistics written down on a sheet of paper, but I have since mislaid it. So, let's see. Also, I want to give a shout out to my friend Pat. Patty's Parlor Games. If you go to his fourth wall, he is selling a shirt this month with a gnoll on it, a gnoll with a bow in her hair. So, check it out. I think this week he's got a discount on it. I think something like 10%. So check out Patty's Parlor Games over on Fourth Wall and get your Gnoll-Vember shirt today. Now that has nothing to do with what I'm doing, but check it out. Now I'm not getting any kind of monetary consideration for mentioning any one of these fine gentlemen. I am glad to know them, and I'm glad to see them engaging their creativity. However, if you want to help the channel, there is, of course, the subscription option on Twitch. But there also is a discount code for Dubby Energy Drink. I have a discount code, and it is Rocket Fuel, ROKKITFUEL. That's Rocket Fuel, ROKKITFUEL at dubby.gg. So you'll get a nice discount if you use my code. So that's all the fiduciary announcements, all the ways you can help. Either you can help strangers, you can help me, you can help the channel, which I am definitely in need of a new computer. Oh yeah, Patty says he needs to buy a new. Patty says he needs a staple gun. So go over to Patty's Parlor Games on Fourth Wall and pick up a Gnoll-Vember t-shirt or sweatshirt or sticker and help him pay for a staple gun. So far we've raised $91 out of $250 goal for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So help us get there. Even if it's just a buck or two, it helps a lot. Hopefully we can reach that by the end of the month. Hopefully that perhaps the Thanksgiving stream will bring in some help that way too. I don't know. So usually on my Thanksgiving streams, I give things away, but I'd like to see if we can maybe reverse that, and you can give something this time to somebody that we don't know. Give a second chance to somebody. Help them have a better tomorrow. So we're going to probably about 11 tonight. I may close it up a little early, I don't know. Kind of depends on how many people show up and how tired I am. It rained here today and it's cold. And I had one service call lined up for today and wound up pushing it back till 10. The gentleman called me and said, "Can we push it back till 10?" I said, "Sure, no problem." Because I can only do my work sometimes at the convenience of the customer. So if they want me to come at a particular time, I'll come at a particular time. So we changed the time, and no sooner had I said, "Hey, this is pretty cool. I have a nice sanguine morning. I can get something for myself done," that my boss called me and said, "Hey, I've got this job. Can you go take care of it?" And of course, it was a job that I was familiar with. What it was is a couple of weeks ago, I had coworkers that installed a temporary service for a construction site. I'm an electrician, so it was electrical service. So I had some coworkers install that service, and they got it inspected, and there were a couple of things that the inspector felt like they needed to tighten up on it. Understandable, especially if it's a temporary that you've taken from one job site to another. You're just kind of using some things that aren't in the best repair. Serviceable, but that's about all you could say. So, alright, so there's 3 archers now. 3 archers are now primed. Boom, there we go. So his axe stayed pretty straight. I straightened that out last week. It was really wiggly. It's a little wiggly now, but I can live with that. I mean, I figure a savage hyena man is going to have maybe not the best selection of sticks to put an axe as an axe handle. So I went out there to fix that, and I did. And it was raining. The day that I fixed it, it was raining and kind of awful. And so today he called me up and he said, "Hey, can you go? They've got they need the trailer, the job trailer hooked up to that service. Can you go out and do it?" Well, it was rainy and gross and horrible and cold. And so I got down there. I contacted the customer we're doing that for. And I said, hey, I can be there in 15. He says, great, I can be there in a half hour. So I met him. I met up with him, and we looked over what he needed. And I went and got the materials. And then by the time I got the materials, it was pretty close to getting to time to get on the road and go to the other service call that I had this morning. So I kind of avoided getting wet and gross and soaked through to the skin this morning. And I was kind of hoping it would let up for the afternoon. Well, I did it in the afternoon, and I got soaked through all the way. Mud on my pant legs, on my boots. New boots too, by the way. So I dug a trench. I dug a trench, and it wasn't terribly muddy when I dug it. Of course, what happens when it rains and you dig a trench, it fills in, right? So I put together as much of the pipe that I could. I used PVC. I put as much of it together as I could, dropped it in the trench, and covered it over. Put the wire in, and the cable actually went in the conduit really easily. I was just by myself, and I wasn't sure if it was going to push through very easily. So Klein Tools makes a pulling compound in a spray can, and I swear it's shaving cream. It's got, I know for a fact that it's got lanolin in it, because I think that's on the MSDS sheet. But it's slick, and you squeeze the, you pull the, you push the nozzle on the canister, and it sprays out this shaving cream looking material, and you fill the pipe with it, and then you put your cable in there, and I could not believe how easily that cable went this afternoon. It was disconcertingly easy. I figured there had to be something else going wrong, but I was working in the rain, and it was cold, and I was soaked through. I was soaked through by two, and I wasn't feeling too happy about it. So, small victory. The cable went smooth. So I want to welcome a new follow over on Twitch. That would be Lethal TTV. So Lethal TTV, thank you for the follow over here on Twitch. Appreciate it. Always enjoy seeing your motivational stream, your little comments that you make. I'm trying to help people be motivated about streaming there on Twitter. I see it. I don't always get to like it. Sometimes I just don't. I mean, I like it, but I might not hit the like button. But if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, feel free to hit that like button. Hit the share too as well, if you want. By the way, if you're not already subscribed on Rumble or Twitch, go ahead and do that too. Those subscribes are free. A like is free and a share is free. There's a lot of things you can do for free to help people out. Ah, yes, here we go. I'm going to have to ban a bot here. Ban a bot. And report a bot. Submit report and block the bot. Ban and block the bot. So that was good. Hate having to do that. Takes away time from painting. So let me tell you a little about the area that I live in and the kind of talent that there is here. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you will notice there's a gentleman in the chat named Travis Faber, who, by the way, has a Kickstarter going on for some of his work. Full Metal Tilt is a jousting minigame for your game campaigns. Seems to plug in pretty well to anything you're wanting to run it with. So check him out on Kickstarter. But there's a lot of talent in this area. He's regional to me. He doesn't live right directly near me, but close enough. We'll call him a neighbor. He's regional. But there was somebody else I was going to talk about here just a minute ago. Oh, so that's what I was going to say. So regionally, we have a lot of really talented people. One of my favorite people, or a person that makes some of my favorite stuff, favorite games, is named Mike DeMena. Mike DeMena is a retired history teacher from Central Ohio, and he wrote a game based on the Song of Blades and Heroes engine called A Song of Drums and Tomahawk. And so a couple months ago, I went to a games day held at a brewery about an hour north of where I live here. And I got to now I've played Song of Blades and Heroes, Song of Drums and Tomahawks before. In fact, I bought a copy of it after the first time I played it with him, and I actually got to play it with him at a small convention of holy hand grenades. That was 2016, I believe. That was 2014. No, 2015. Must have been around 2016, I believe. So yeah, that was 2016, and so I got to. I don't have to tell you that it can be difficult to find unless you're going online. You know what you're looking for. It can be difficult to find historical miniatures at your local stores because they tend to carry the big name stuff. You're not really going to find much in the way of Old Glory or anything like that. But I went to this little games day at this brewery, and I played in the Song of Blades and Heroes game. Drums and Tomahawks game. And there was a vendor there. There weren't too many vendors. It was very small. But this vendor came down from where he's located and brought some figures. And lo and behold, he had the figures that we used in the game. So I picked up. I was being very frugal with my spending at the time. So I picked up one bag of figures, Rogers Rangers, which is French and Indian wartime. So I picked up a bag of Rogers Rangers from him. And just last week, I bought the natives, Eastern natives of the period. I mean, they're kind of going to be generic, so they could be everything from the Shawnee to the Iroquois to the Mohawk. So I got some bags of them. So 20, and this is his company, RRB Minis, and you can look this up online. You can look up his. It's rrbminis.com. So there it is, rrbminis.com. I'm covering up the mailing address of this store because he'd probably run it out of his garage. I don't know that he would want it. I know he wants it out there, but I don't know that he really wants it out there. You're gonna get it if you order from him. But rrbminis.com. He's even got some really cool, really funky old style science fiction and fantasy miniatures. And I think he's got a retailer, or he's got a license to print diabolical terrain. So he's got some diabolical terrain on his site, or if he's not printing it himself, he's selling it. So he may be even getting it from diabolical itself, but he's got a good spread of all the things that you need on his website. That's rrbminis.com. And there's a lot of historical stuff. There are some little zine games. This is one of them that I picked up. This is called Saddle Bum Cinematic Wild West Miniatures Rules, and it's just a little zine style game, which zines are kind of the in thing now. And so you have a roster that you build up. It gives you all the rules that you need for how to create your roster, create your figure, your characters, and things you can do, options that you have. So he's got this. He's got a Flintlock era one called Frizen Bum. So it's the Bum series of zine games there. So check him out. Check them out. That's rrbminis.com. RRB Romeo Bravo Minis.com. So check them out. Again, I don't get any kind of a kickback or any consideration for talking about the things that I like on my channel. The only thing I get a kickback from is if you use my code ROCKETFUEL, ROKKITFUEL, at w.gg. If you're into energy drinks, I personally like Dubby because I don't have that crash down at the end. It's also sugar free. And they come with a wide variety of interesting flavors. And they will have limited edition flavors as well. So you never know what you're going to get 1 month to the next. Now, as you probably know, if you tuned in last week, you know that I'm not really being too picky about the mold lines on these, because it is the Bones soft PVC, which is just an absolute nightmare to get mold lines off of. So you can have a great paint job and mold lines will ruin it. But because these are designed to play with kids or people that don't understand miniatures and the delicate nature of them, you know, it's kind of where I'm going with. Let's see. Travis says, I'm checking his store out now. Nice. Well, if you do happen to get anything, just give him give him a note that you heard about him from me. Not that I get any consideration out of it by any means, but we had a nice exchange over email the other day. He said, "Well," he goes, "How did you hear about my store?" I said, "Well, because I we visited at the brewery bash, and we played a couple of demo games of the bum rules. So he's got chivalry bum, Frizen bum. He's got saddle bum, and there is a pirate game that uses the 1/2400 scale little old glory, the old glory ships there. But it's actually a fairly extensive website there, Travis. If you're looking at it still. Uh, I would say don't get too overwhelmed with it, but it's actually better once you start navigating it. You start seeing it's not as he knows that he's got to do some work on it. So I'm not being critical of his efforts by any means, but um, he's got things actually in pretty good categories. So, and I find the prices very nice. So he's got some of the old discontinued Old Glory stuff that I think he bought the rights to, production rights anyway. So, but yeah, it's he's regional. I like to support regional people. One reason I like Mike Domain has got his company called First Command Games. That's who did the. He's got a seven. Let's see, a Marlboro set of rules, I think, which is leans into that 7 Years War, which was also um, French and Indian War. So Drums and Tomahawks deals with a lot of the Western expansion of early settlement of this country. So it has personalities in it that you can choose from and play everyone from French and Indian War all the way up through uh, Revolutionary, the Revolutionary era. So Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, um, which that's post Revolutionary. That's more the, but he takes it. He's got Simon Kenton is a personality that he's statted out in the game. Tecumseh, Cornstalk. Oh, who else has he got statted out? Um, just all sorts of people. I don't remember right offhand because yeah, he does have a lot on there, Trav. Yeah. Hey, Patty. Lurking on Rumble while you draw. Nice. So, Pat, I was just telling the people about your Gnoll-Vember artwork on the T-shirts and stickers. So, Patty's Parlor Games on Fourth Wall, right? Is that what it is? Yeah, the RRB Minis site helps if you kind of have an idea what you're looking for a little bit. But he does have a system to his categorization there too. So right. So here is I want a copy link. Yeah. So here is the link for Patty's Gnoll-Vember artwork. Go at least buy a sticker. Help Patty buy a new staple gun. Oh wow. Patty's throwing the gauntlet down, folks. So if you buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a sticker or a I don't know, shot glass or something, um, or mug over here at Patty's Fourth Wall, Patty says he will also pledge half the earnings to JP's fundraiser until we hit the goal. So Patty is throwing down the glove. He's throwing down the gauntlet, folks. Uh, so pick up a seasonal Knoll t-shirt or sticker or something, and Patty will donate half of that to the fundraiser for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That's real big of you, man. Appreciate it. That is pretty amazing, man. But definitely look into that, folks. If you want a nice warm hoodie with a whimsical looking gnoll on it, with a bow in its hair, check it out. Yeah, so. And then, of course, check out Travis Fauber's Full Metal Tilt on Kickstarter. And that's not the only expansion he's got there, I think. He's got a couple other ones there. And I haven't had a chance to look at his Kickstarter yet. I'm sorry, Travis, I haven't. I've been meaning to. I find it's easy to there are things that are too easy to lose at Kickstarter. But no, it's going to be an easy one for Travis to fulfill because he's got it all figured out. It won't be like certain Kickstarters that I have invested in and not even gotten half of my stuff. This is not quite that. So check out Travis Fauber's Kickstarter for Full Metal Tilt. Patty's a mensch. Oy vey, Patty, you hear? Did you hear you're a mensch? That's what's funny is I've heard more people. I lived in New York for a little while, and I've heard more people from West Virginia use the term mensch than I ever did any Jewish people that I knew. Of course, most of the Jewish people I knew were younger, so they didn't quite use some of the slang. But it's funny. It's funny the way people adopt terms. You don't expect to hear Yiddish slang in West Virginia. But then again, you got to remember, we live in a mobile society. Just because somebody's from a certain place or lives in a certain place, that doesn't reflect their life's experience. So, but yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I finished running power in from a service in the rain and the cold today, Patty. Soaked all the way through. It was quite an experience. Let's see. Travis says probably a lot of here watched Northern Exposure back in the day. Oh yeah, yeah. Man, Northern Exposure was a great show. Great show. But that's the thing too, though. Travis, is remember when we were younger. When we were younger, uh, all television was by appointment. If it was on, it was on. There was no DVR or on-demand streaming. It was right there. If you wanted to see it, you had to catch it when it was on, or wait for the rerun for the next season. The between season reruns. So, but yeah. So there's two ways to help the fundraiser. One, you can hit the Twitch and do that, or you can buy a cool sticker or t-shirt or hoodie or mug. I think you got mugs, don't you, Pat? On the with the gnoll on it, the gnoll with the bow in its hair. It's kind of funny because Pat and I did not coordinate Gnoll-Vember, but um, what's it? You don't need to have a conspiracy for goals to have coincidence to coincide. But yeah. Oh, Jeremy called. Well, what did he call you? You didn't really miss anything, Pat. I was just talking about back in the day how television was by appointment. If it was on, you had to watch it then. I mean, you could probably tape record it. You could tape it as well, but if you wanted to catch it first run and you were at home, you were going to catch it on the TV. It really wasn't much of a. It wasn't the way it is now. So we were talking about um, how many people use words that are outside of their usual regional dialect. Called me all sorts of names. He's a bad, bad man. Well, yes. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you got to remember, Jeremy was a Marine, and of course, there's really no such thing as was a Marine, right? There's no such thing as an ex-Marine, folks. Remember that. Uh, so he knows all 8,697 iterations of the F word. Lots of nuance there. But he also thinks that crayons is a food group. That's not nice. I can't make fun of him while he's not here. That's not nice. Lord, I apologize. Bless the pygmies in Africa. We're going to miss you at Valhalla, but I'm hoping we can catch you at the next one. How's my travel plans for this year? Got everything worked out. So my travel plans this year, Pat, are pretty much Adepticon and seeing my parents, seeing my folks somewhere along the line. That's pretty much it. Probably won't do Gen Con. I might, because like Origins is basically like 2 hours away. I may go up for like Thursday evening through Sunday, but I'm not really putting a lot of effort into getting to a lot of conventions. There's small local conventions I'll probably go to, Saturday here and there. But I'm not going to go to anything bigger than Adepticon this year, I think. Well, I mean, Origins is bigger than Adepticon. But what I mean is, like, I'm not going to be going to too many conventions that are multi-day affairs other than Adepticon. Adepticon's about it. Then just figure out a good time to go see my folks. They like to go on cruises on short notice, so it's hard to figure out a good time to see them. So, trying to figure that out. So, see, I like to surprise people when I visit. I like it when they're not expecting me coming. But especially since it's been a while since I've seen them. It's just too far to. I mean, it's far. I don't like flying. I don't trust my car to drive that far. It takes 2 days to get there. 2 hard days. And I've got stops. If I were to drive, I've got stops I'd have to make along the way because I've got other family along the way that I would want to see. I wouldn't want to drive right by and not visit. So. So if you're watching over on Rumble, check out Patty's Parlor's shop from fourthwall.com. And your purchase, half of the profit will go to the fundraiser that I have going on for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. But it's kind of funny, Pat, because up until this past year, the company I work for didn't have a vacation scheme, so we didn't have like paid vacations. It was just, take time off if you want to. You're just not going to get paid for it, obviously. Um, so you just kind of did. I mean, you just never really took too much time off by any means. And I tried to avoid taking time off all the time or back to back, you know. So now we've got a vacation scheme, and it actually took one of our best guys, to quit before they saw the folly of their ways and instituted one. But let's see. I found the end. Yeah, that's a nice site he has. I'm adding it to the list of miniature site. Nice, Travis. Yeah, the end. The end of that site. It took me a while to get through everything as well. He's got some things. Um, I mean, he's got all sorts of categories there. He's got a terrain category. He's got sci-fi. He's got fantasy. He's got historical. He's got rules on there as well. So, but I think what I'm going to try to do next year, I mean, not travel so much, focus more on maybe some content creation. Because a lot of times, the weekend that I'm gone someplace, going away for a weekend, even if it's just one, sometimes I'll have one weekend a month, and it does tend to pile up, especially when you live alone and have to do everything yourself. It's hard to keep up. It can be very difficult to keep up. But yeah, check out if you want discount. I don't want to say discount. If you want affordable figures, check out RRB. That's Romeo Bravo Minis, MINIS Minis, RRBminis.com. I don't get any consideration for that. I do like his selection. I like what he's got, especially the historical stuff. And I think that you will find the price is very agreeable. Uh, in fact, I ordered from him after they were at Fall In a couple weeks ago, and I ordered from him the day that they would be returning on from Fall In. So it would have been a Sunday evening. And while I had a feeling that he was going to probably not be able to fulfill the order for like a week, he actually had it fulfilled and at my doorstep. Um, he filled it on a Wednesday, and it was on my doorstep Saturday morning. And the UPS, or USPS, sorry, not UPS, USPS site that said that it wouldn't be to my house until Monday, but it got there 2 days earlier. He says, Travis over here on YouTube says, I really dig one of those unicorn pieces. I found the game you mentioned. It looks very neat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's got the Bum series rules. There's Chivalrous Bum. There's Frizen Bum. There's Saddle Bum. And I want to say there's one more, but I don't recall it right offhand. I've actually got them sitting out in the other room. I could go look at them, but anyway, you don't need me to tell you about it. You can always go and look at rrbminis.com and look under the rules section. But they're about $2 a pop, I think. And they're just a little zine size rule set. Plays on a surface the size of a handkerchief, actually. Literally. He and I played a couple of games on a demo mat that was literally the size of a handkerchief. And yeah. Like I said, he's got terrain up there too. So check it out. And definitely check out my friend Pat on his Fourth Wall site. That's Patio Cakes. Sorry. It's patiocakes-shop.fourthwall.com. Patio Cakes shop fourthwall.com. So check that out. And if you buy something there, he's going to donate, especially if it's the Gnoll. I really want you to buy his new artwork because that's really cool. I think it's just funny how Pat did some Gnoll artwork, and I happen to be doing Gnolls this November, and it was just so weird that it kind of all happened all together. It was not by design, I will tell you that. We did not have any confidential talk about this, but buy a sticker, buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy a mug, whatever he's putting that artwork on, buy it, and half of the proceeds will go to the 988 fundraiser that I've got going here on Twitch until we reach the full amount, which the full amount is $250. So far we've raised $91. So we're at $91 out of $250. So, and of course, I will be streaming on Thanksgiving Day because for me it is Thanksgiving. I'll probably get Bob Evans turkey dinner because it's a good day for it. I like Bob Evans. Actually, they just played a 988 ad. Interesting. Well, let's see, ad break in 34 seconds. Let's see. Travis says, the one you were mentioning is the Song of Drums and Tomahawks. I love that period of American history. Yeah, that's a great game. Seriously, Travis, you will love that game. It plays fast. If you're familiar with Song of Blades and Heroes already, it'll come naturally. And in some respects, I kind of like what Mike has done with Drums and Tomahawks. He's tweaked a few things in there that Blades and Heroes doesn't have. So, especially firearms. If you know anything, I mean, I know you know this, Travis, but you may have heard of a man named Simon Kenton in your studies. But he was a big man, over 6 feet tall, and it was said that he can run at full speed and load his rifle. Now, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, of course, this was in the 1700s, and it's when weapons were flintlock, and he could run at full speed and load his rifle. So, Andy was a brawler. But yeah, this whole area through here. My friend Jeff in my gaming club is running a lot of French and Indian War period stuff. He did a game up at Fort, what was that, Fort Prospect, up in Point Pleasant here a couple of months ago. I helped playtest the scenario with him. Um, but he's been painting 15 millimeter French and Indian War dudes. So it's kind of seems like right now the Gestalt is moving us in the direction of French and Indian War gaming. It's kind of funny. Again, me and Jeff weren't chatting about it, but here we are. We're both working on a lot of French and Indian War stuff. Which I mean, this isn't French and Indian War, obviously, but you know. Let's see. Let's see. Bob Evans Turkey Dinner is the Bob. I don't recall the name yet. I'm going to look him up yet. Oh yeah, yeah. Simon Kenton. Um, let's see. Yeah. So here's the funny thing, Pat. I went to renew the registration on my vehicle, and on the back of the envelope that I got from the state, it had a little blurb for the 988 fund too. So feeling pretty good about promoting the 988 suicide and crisis lifeline. So but what was funny is there was, I don't remember what the charity was that it was asking me at the vehicle registration place. They said, do you want to donate $1 of your registration to whatever charity it was? And I said, well, what charity is it? And it was, you know, it was helping kids get, helping poor kids get glasses, right? So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's put $1 towards that. No problem. Um, but I said, look at the back of this. I asked, said, is there a way that we can earmark that dollar for a particular charity? Well, there wasn't, because you know it just is what it is, the way they do things. But I think that would be pretty neat if you could earmark it for, say, you had a pull down menu of like 5 different charities that you could send some of that registration money to. Now that'd be really cool. Fort Randolph. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Would that be, if that's the one up at Point Pleasant? Travis, that would be it. Oh, brush priming, brush priming, brush priming. So much fun. But lately, I've just been on kind of a big French and Indian war kick. Been listening to the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack, which, I mean, I know it really doesn't have anything to do with it historically speaking, like, but it's evocative. It's one of those soundtracks that's kind of takes you to a place that's near and it's familiar, but it also, if you lived in this area, if you live in the Appalachian area, or you've ever visited the Catskills or all that area, you know, Catskills and Appalachians are not really that different. But yeah, I been listening to that soundtrack, and it just moves you. And of course, it's hard to not hum it or whistle it, because, especially being on YouTube, I'm sure I'd get dinged for it. All right, so now everybody is primed up. They must be Amazons because now they're all primed. But Travis agrees. Simon, let's see. So Simon is no joke, man. Great source for an NPC. Oh yeah. Well, you could use him as an NPC if you did a RPG in that time period. Maybe kind of as a Deus Ex Machina, kind of a Tom Bombadil sort of a fella, or you could use him, as his stats are in Blades and Drums and Tomahawks. Let's see, man, that is a great soundtrack. Always on my list when running any game. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Mountain people are mountain people no matter where they are located. True. Very true. Very true. Whether it's the Ozarks or the Catskills or the Appalachians. Of course, you got to consider there's a lot of the people that settled those areas were of similar extractions anyway, so that culture really, there's not a lot of deviation there. Ah yes, the old fan. Drinks on me. All right, thanks Pat. Drinks on me. I am taking a sip of Yuengling traditional lager. Thank you. I needed that. All right. So, if you are just now tuning in and watching, I don't know if anybody out who is, because I'm not looking at view counts or anything like that. Not sure, not seeing. But I always see that I have more people that watch than actually participate in chat, and that is fine. I appreciate the lurks and looks. So, if you're just watching just now, I want to talk to you just for a moment about the fundraiser I have going on the Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, look down in the lower right hand corner and you will see the big pink button that says donate to charity. We are trying to support the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline this month. And if you are watching the chat right now, I'm going to put in a link, and that is to my friend's Fourth Wall shop, who has a piece of artwork, Gnoll-ish artwork, by the way, who, if you buy that this month, you will help. He will give half of the proceeds to the fundraiser that we're running on the Twitch channel. And until we reach our goal, and now we don't have too much further to reach the goal. We're at $91 out of $250. I feel like I'm on PBS right now. Your donation can make a difference. Men's mental health is no joke, and November is Men's Mental Health. And if you're like me, when you have the shorter days and the early darkness and the cold, dreary days, sometimes you feel cold and dreary. And sometimes it goes more than just a couple of days. And if it does, and you feel blue and you feel down, you don't feel like you have a purpose for more than just a couple of days, you may actually have seasonally affected depression. You may have some level of depression that needs some help. And the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline can help give you materials to help you cope, find coping mechanisms. All right. Let's see. Check out Kickstarter.com and go and look for a Kickstarter for a game called Full Metal Tilt by Travis Fauber. Check that out. Full Metal Tilt on Kickstarter, and I think you'll really like that product. If you have ever wanted to play out a jousting scenario, that's definitely the one to look at. All right, we're going to let these dry up a bit. Might do another coat on a couple of them. We're going to take a little break for a little bit. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes. And we are back. All right, so, all right, get out of the chair there, Pumpkin. I know you want to paint. You want to do gravimetric studies, don't you? So, I was at a small convention here a couple of months ago, and I happened to be handed a beta copy, a pre-release of Travis's Full Metal Tilt by Travis Faber. So, there it is. Now, you can get your own copy if you go to Kickstarter.com and look this up, Full Metal Tilt. From Grey Cloak Publishing. It is compatible with the OSR and Dragon Slayer. And according to what he says, you can pretty well plug it into most systems that you may play. And of course, then I guess he's got the other module, the Blue Lady, which is an adventure that you can run for your friends. I believe that's also available as an add-on to that Kickstarter. So, now, I would open this up, but I know that you could screenshot this and probably get all of his secrets. So if you want to take a look at what's in here, go to Kickstarter.com and check out Full Metal Tilt. And you can see sample pages. I'll show you the table of contents, terminology, Full Metal Tilt, jousting rules, chivalry and scoring, jousting matches. So definitely check that out. So that's Full Metal Tilt by Travis Faber. Right there. That's available on Kickstarter right now. Full Metal Tilt. So, all right. Oh, that sounds like that would be fun. So I think I'm just going to let these dry. I think if I try to put another coat on there, it won't be good. So, all right, what else can I do? So I'm going to set these aside, and I've got some terrain to work on here. We got another 25 or 30 minutes left here in the pocket dimension. That would be cool. So we're going to set aside, I could do the terrain, or dun, 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 December 7th, 10 p.m. my time. December 7th. Let's see what day that would be. It's a day that will live in infamy. December 7th. Let's see. What is that? December the 7th. Oh, it's a Sunday. 10 o'clock our time. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a Sunday. So I'm going to set these aside and let them dry. And I think what I'll do is I've got these owlbears. Now these are some really weedy looking owlbears. It would and does indeed. So, these are some pretty weedy looking owlbears. These are an early Reaper. So, Reaper made these in metal before, but they translated them over to Bones plastic. And I always thought they were a little bit weedy, but they might be like some other breed of owlbear. So, like your big chunky ones um, might be like a northern owlbear. These might be like a southern owlbear, you know. So I think since I'm doing priming, I think I'll go ahead and prime these guys up as well. We might be able to actually do more than one in 2 hours. Yeah, that'd be great. Well, and the thing is it's a joust. It's a joust. It should move fast, right? It should really move fast. If you've got a slow moving joust, then you haven't done a good job modeling it, right? You know, it's like it's like the old tank game called MBT. You know, it took 3 hours to work out one shot. Well, that's no good. You know, so you've got 2.5 ton horses running towards each other with a human on top that's nearly 400 pounds, armor and human inside. You know, things are going to come together really fast, really hard. Then the results would definitely be there would definitely be a very quick result there. Yeah, so I would think that I would hope that a jousting game would move fast. I think I brought back some bad memories for Travis over here on YouTube when I mentioned MBT. You had to calculate the viscosity of the air. You had to calculate the speed of the round. You had to calculate the angle of the round hitting the armor. Yeah. Yeah, spreadsheet the game. Not much fun. So we're going to add some owlbears to this warband. Maybe they get summoned by the chieftain, you know. They come crashing out of the underbrush. Maybe he has pet owlbears. So I'm just going to do some basing while we're waiting on the gnolls to dry. We got another half hour or so to go here in the stream. Folks, if you got any questions or things you want to know about, you're more than welcome to ask. If I don't know the answer, I will make it up. I will tell you something. It may not be right, it may not be true, but I will tell you something. We have got cat activity in the pocket dimension. He's found something he's knocking around over there. Looks like Reaper has released some of the busts that they had at ReaperCon. I may have to make another order because I'd like to try doing more busts in more of a display quality level work. Maybe more of that sort of competitive, high level competitive. I don't know. Let's see. Travis says, "Well, gentlemen, I'm going to crash out." Hey, now, who are you calling gentlemen? We don't need that kind of language here, Buster. No. I'm going to crash out at 4 a.m. We'll be here before I know it. Yep. JP, it is great to catch the stream. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's joust together on December 7th. So remember, folks, check out Travis Faber's work in Full Metal Tilt. Get it on Kickstarter today. That's Full Metal Tilt from Grey Cloak Publishing, available on Kickstarter. So thanks for joining us tonight there, Travis. And if you make your millions of dollars from your Kickstarter, buy a sticker at Patty's store, and you'll get half of it. We'll go to the 988 fundraiser. There you go. Kill two birds with one stone. But I'm pretty happy with the way the fundraiser has gone so far. Oh, you're welcome for the shout out. Absolutely. Oh, thank you for the copy of Full Metal Tilt. Anyway, to look over, I appreciate that. That was very kind of you. I've been looking I'm actually been looking for an opportunity to try it out. Have a good evening, Travis. Sleep well. Morning comes early here, too. Always comes at the beginning of the day. Why is that? All right. Pumpkin, what you doing, buddy? What you got there? Oh, you're beating around on that. That came from those shelves, didn't it? Ah. Do you want to visit the pocket dimension here, buddy? Huh? You want to come up and say hello to everybody? Huh? No? All right. All right. Patty is still hanging out, it seems like. How's the drawing going, Pat? Is it an NDA drawing? Super secret super squirrels. All right. Cool. All right. Looking good. I am in shading purgatory. All right. So, I think that may be it for tonight's stream. I've got everybody primed up here. So we got 3 Bowman, 3 Gnoll-Bowman. We have got a leader of some sort. Got 2 dudes with axes. And a leader with an axe. Sorry, 3 dudes with axes and a leader with an axe. So you can have these guys as one little strike team. And have these guys as another little strike team. And then you could have this guy calling in his pet owlbears. Because haven't you wanted to hug an owlbear? I'll leave that up to Bill Sylvie. So, that's what it's going to look like, I think. Something like that. And, of course, these were cheap. These were in the Bones 1. So, some people don't like the way these owlbears look. I would say that if they weren't in the active, this really dynamic pose, they'd probably look just like any other owlbear. They are a little skinny, maybe. Some people think they're skinny. But if you really look at their anatomy, they really aren't that skinny. Like I said, maybe these are a different particular species of owlbear. So like you have like different species of birds. They're still birds, or even the same like hawks and eagles. You know, they're all raptors, but they're all slightly different. So even owls. Owls are considered raptors. So, yeah. So anyway, I think that's going to be the stream for tonight. I'm pretty well done with what I got to a place where I want to be. I'm a little bit behind, but I hope to make these up. Now, Thursday, I'm probably not streaming Thursday. Still got some things going on. Nothing of any real concern, but just some other things. I'm probably going to work around the house tomorrow night. I've been thinking about while Thursdays are a schedule shift for me. I've been thinking about maybe doing on Wednesdays, but at this point, I don't know. I mean, kind of late for doing that. Because things are about to flip back anyway. Here another week or so. Week or two maybe. So whether I stream on Wednesday, I don't know. It's just I need time to be able to do housework and things like that because living as a that's the life of a bachelor. Um, so anyway, feel free to hit that donate button if you want to. If you want something cool, check out Patty O'Cakes shop.fourthwall.com. That's Patty O'Cakes shop.fourthwall.com. That's a hyphenated cake. There's a hyphen between cakes and shop. So Patty O'Cakes shop.fourthwall.com. And he is going to donate half the proceeds to the 988 fundraiser that I'm doing until we reach our goal. Our goal is $250. We have so far raised $91. So that's very generous of him. Buy a sticker, buy a t-shirt, check out his stuff. Let's see. What else? So check out Travis Fauber's Full Metal Tilt jousting game on Kickstarter. What's up, Pumpkin? What's up, buddy? And then that's about it. Anybody else I need to shout out tonight? Check out rrbminis.com if you want some classic older style minis, historical minis, a nice selection of terrain, and some just classic old school type stuff. Check it out. It's not. Some of it's very old school looking, and some of it is very contemporary looking. Some of it's the Old Glory, stuff that he got. So anyhow, I think that's all I was talking about tonight. If you want to support the channel without supporting Twitch, feel free to hit up w.gg and use my code for 10% off your purchase. That's ROKKITFUEL, Rocket Fuel, ROKKITFUEL at w.gg for energy drinks and merchandise. Cool stuff. They've got some neat stuff. I've got a couple of flags from them. It's pretty cool. Let's see. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Those are 3 free things that you can do to help grow the channel. And if you're on Twitch, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And we're going to say goodnight to YouTube and Rumble. Pat, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Appreciate you too, man. Big ups, dude. So that's it. Oh, come on. All right, we are going to say goodnight. Okay, so also remember, no matter how bad today might have been for you, the sun's coming up tomorrow and the world is a better place with you in it. Keep on